Hello, Winchester. Welcome to Visual Radio Live. It's an exciting night. Thank you, Judy Kellerman. Thank you to Jeannie Martin, our director, and the views and opinions on Visual Radio. Those are the host and his guests, and not necessarily those of WinCam, Winchester Community Access and Media. It's board of directors, staff, management, members, viewing audience. It's just our opinion, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Hey, Marie Mazzeo returns. Before I introduce Betty, Marie Mazzeo was with us in Winthrop, from Winthrop to Winchester. That was about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And you've seen some of our Kitty Connection photos of the kitties and the doggies. I got to get back to your house and do more of that.
It really makes such a difference when people get to see the different cats and dogs that are up for adoption. So, yeah.
I can't believe the hits on YouTube. People love pets.
Yeah.
And
they really love the videos, the action shots, seeing a cat or a dog playing. It just gets that personality out there.
Well, Kitty Connection is distinguished from other animal rescue groups because it is really hands-on rather. Marie is the spirit, the founder, and a fantastic person who dedicates her entire life to pets. Her own house she has converted into an animal sanctuary. Her basement is full of cats, and her first floor is now full of dogs. And she's somebody whom I admire tremendously. And there is the love of her life, and that's the story.
We've got a cheer for you.
And this is the reason why I am in the picture. Because 6 months ago, 6 feral cats descended on me, my backyard in Charlestown. I'm a dog person, and I said no, but I fell in love with one cat and he stayed with me in my house, and I couldn't keep him because I have a very sick husband.
Oh,
and I
sorry.
researched the Animal Rescue League, and I researched Kitty Connection. And I ask hard questions because it's like adopting out a child. And I did all my investigative research, and I found Marie. And the more I know about Kitty Connection, the more I am committed to Kitty Connection. So this book event is a kickoff.
This is the kickoff tonight.
Yes, this is the kickoff.
The Girl on a Leash, The Healing Power of Dogs. I should tell everyone, our guest, Betty Lim King, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Betty Lim King has this book, Girl on a Leash, The Healing Power of Dogs, and this is the kickoff event where this is a fundraiser for Kitty Connection.
Kitty Connection, yes.
And so can you go to the Kitty Connection website, or do you have your own website too?
No, it's in the Kitty Connection website.
Which is kittyconnection.net, N-E-T.
And the event is going to be on May 18, Saturday at 3 p.m. at an independent bookstore called Bestsellers Cafe.
A wonderful bookstore in Medford.
Yes.
Bestsellers. I'll tell everyone it's right down High Street.
Yes.
Where Jingle Bells was written.
Yes.
High Street, Medford. So if you're near the Medford Public Library, it's the other side of the street where the big castle is. Across diagonal from Colleen's and CVS is the Bestsellers Cafe, a wonderful place at 24 High Street at 3 p.m.
At 3 p.m. And all the proceeds of the book sales will go to Kitty Connection and will directly benefit dogs and cats. I have been an animal advocate since 1993. I come from North Carolina, and I've always been looking for a worthy animal rescue group, and I found it in Kitty Connection. Marie is the soul and the heart, and if you see what she does, you will want to do more and more. Kitty Connection is an all-volunteer animal rescue group. It has no officers. Everybody gives of their time and their money, and it's just a fantastic group.
I love having Penny here.
And let's.
I love having you here too, Betty. But I love having Penny here. She's so cute.
That's a story. That's a
so
story.
funny because
That's a story.
And Penny's a rescue dog, and Penny came to Kitty Connection. And again, as Betty knows, the power of the animals in people's lives. And Penny was going to be put down, and she had 5 puppies. And there was just, there was no place for her. And different people were networking. And somebody ran into a person that, was trying to help Penny and her pups and said, gee, do you know anybody that can help this dog and puppies? There's just no room, and we don't want her to go into the, get into the wrong hands. And the woman said that she was with Kitty Connection, and the woman said, oh, I know Marie, and that's how Penny came in. And Joe, you've been downstairs.
Well, I was just going to tell people.
In the adoption area
yeah.
with the cats. So when we were taking Penny in, we had to take all the cats out of the adoption area, because then we had to put Penny in there with her 5 little puppies. And we got them all settled, and, they all went to the vet, got checked out, and we got the puppies weaned from Penny, and they went into foster homes. And it was a first for us, because Penny actually, she was my foster, and she got adopted before any of her pups. So, and it's just so incredible. I mean, not because she's my dog, but she is a very pretty dog, and I can't believe how many people just, her coloring, her eyes practically the same color. And people will always say, oh my God, that dog is just so beautiful. So when she was up for adoption, we had her spayed, and that was it. She was adopted out. And everybody kept saying that I should adopt Penny. And I just felt like when my last dog died that, I was just, this is it. How can I have a dog of my own and be able to take in dogs and cats and be able to help them. And everybody used to tease. They used to say, if I could be a dog, I would be Penny. So her personality, it is so funny. But I did adopt her out. My heart was broken. I really did feel connected to her. And it's just amazing how dogs, I always say I'm glad one of us had more brains, but Penny did get adopted out. And for some reason, she was adopted in December, and the woman was having trouble. She was saying that, it just wasn't working. Penny was too strong.
It's a chemistry between the dog and the owner.
Yeah, and at that time, of course, I was taking in other foster dogs. I had another foster dog, and, and the woman had decided, we brought her, we told her she should go for dog training, and she just didn't think it was going to work. And Penny had to go to a doggy daycare because I had my foster. And so she went there and stayed, and my foster got adopted, and I happened to go to the doggy daycare, and they had a 3/4-inch door because I wanted to take Penny back to foster. When I went in and she heard my voice, she jumped the 3/4 door into my arms, and I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to take her back. And I took her, and we went to visit one of the volunteers, and she got out of the yard and escaped into the Medford Woods up at the Heights over at off Fulton Street. And we ended up, we had to call the MSPCA in for them to set dog traps. We would get sightings, but we just couldn't get her. And, one volunteer, we would always go up. Everybody was going up there calling her. We had signs. She actually came up to a volunteer. And it was a week, and Patriots Day is her anniversary. I thought my neighbor has a dog that's pretty similar to color, and she's carrying this dog up my stairs, and I'm thinking something was wrong with her dog, and it was Penny. So Penny made her way, from 93, crossing 93, figuring out how to get. It's just so incredible because she hadn't been with me for 3 months, and that she found her way back to my house. And I just figured, and everybody kept saying, oh my God, my kids included, you're going to have to adopt her because, you know, I mean, she's always going to try to find her way back to you. And she's just, you know, I take her everywhere. I have a lot of crazy people that come to Kitty Connection, have to call 911 a lot of times. So, you know, I mean, at this point, 911 I can still call, but at least having a dog that is protecting me. If I weren't bringing Penny in here, she sits in the car, so wherever I go, you know, when I'm out trapping, you know, we'll go into places that everybody, you know, will say you shouldn't go someplace alone, but sometimes you have to do something and you're going to be alone, and Penny's kind of like my bodyguard when I'm out there trapping, and that's it. It's like, it's just incredible, and we're just so connected. It's like
they're a couple.
Transformation. She just relaxes my life.
Will she be here for the whole hour? Will she be okay, or do you need to take her out for a walk or anything?
No, she's already done that. No,
wow.
She's really,
she's
gone for training, K9 Academy, New England. I've gone to seminars to learn more about dogs that Joe Ferraro puts on. He's had this trainer, Forrest, that's come out from California. He gives us great tips and training, and I've been working with him on tweaking Penny on all of her training. So Betty's book about connections with people and dogs, Penny's that. It's just something about animals, the way they do connect with people. Even when people come to adopt cats, I always say it's best if you make an appointment and you just come in, or you go to one of the foster homes, because we are a network of foster homes, and just see if there is that connection. Does a cat pick you? A lot of people, they might have in their mind, and they'll do it with dogs, you know. I love German Shepherds, or I love Great Danes, but is that the right dog for me? And that's what people need to understand. Is this a dog that is going to blend in with my family? You know, do I have the time to take out a dog that's high energy and has a lot of energy, you know, and needs to go out and needs to walk? Huskies, big, you know, energy dogs, they need a lot of running. So somebody that adopts one of these dogs, they don't realize that if they don't have the time, it isn't going to work unless they put that time into it. And sadly, people really don't put the time into pets that's needed.
You know, Marie has special cats called TLCs, Tender Loving Care. I want to give a little success story on Smokey Joe.
Yep.
So I was helping Marie with videotaping, I think it was.
Yep.
Was it the videotaping? And you helped me. I rescued 2 cats that got a wonderful home in Medford. My friend Ruth, her cats had passed away, and she took them in, and Marie helped me with these cats for 2 days. Ruth took them, she adores them. So Smokey Joe was there, and Smokey Joe was afraid. He was huddled with the other cats. So we adopted him. He is so gradually coming around, but he loves living with us. He buddies up with all the cats. So he just really loves his little family. And he's like getting closer and closer to Jeff and I. So like today he was only like a foot away from me. Now he'll come on my bed, and if I'm hugging one of the cats, he'll let me pet him. But he'll only let me pet him if I'm petting another cat. And if you go to try to touch him, he jumps. But he would have probably, it would be hard for people to adopt a cat that isn't friendly.
Yeah, well, a lot of people, that's what they're thinking. They want somebody that's going to walk up to them, very, very friendly, but they don't understand that some cats have had different traumas in their life, and that they have to overcome these traumas. Even some of the cats that we get that are surrendered, they have a really, really difficult time settling. Yes. And people just don't realize that. And these kitties that we call TLC that need somebody that has that patience and time to let them adjust. I mean, there's a special bond and trust that builds up, And these cats really do. They make wonderful pets.
Well,
and
I'll tell you what we did. We put them in the bathroom to keep them away from the other cats, because you know how other cats are when you bring a new one in.
Yeah.
They freak out. So they're all like looking at the door. So we had him in the bathroom. So he was being, don't talk to me, right? So I got a little string. I stopped playing with him. He starts playing back right away, right? So he's playing with me. Then he stops. It's like, I don't want to play with this human. Why am I giving in, right?
Who's this?
So when we finally let him out and linger and run around, I stopped playing with the string. We play every day now, Smokey Joe and I, with the string. And like Irish Patty, which we got from you.
Yeah.
Little Guy and Susie.
Yeah.
All of our cats love to play with the string, but the Kitty Connection cats, so everyone has fun, and they're all in my bed, so they're all safe and happy.
Yeah.
But the
And
string.
you did, a lot of the kitties that you did adopt, Joe, were TLCs. They were scared.
All four of them.
Yeah.
Well,
They were
remember I
scared
said
and
to
they
you,
blossomed.
I said, let Irish Patty and Susie, as much as I love them, I said, if someone wants to adopt them, I'll wait.
Yeah.
I waited a couple of weeks with both. No one adopted them. We took them in. We
Yeah.
adore them.
Yeah. Because
Susie's
Susie
my
was a
little
little
treasure.
older, too, so that was what was against her. And, so it worked out really
She's so
well.
cute.
You know, Joe, one of the themes of my book is how a culture and a society treats its animal pets. Tell us something about that society and that culture. And how a person treats their animal pets. Tell us something about that person. And here I'm listening to you, and your tender, loving, caring personality comes with Smokey Joe, because it tells us something about you. When people tell me, oh, I love my dog or my cat, and I see them, tying them up or not giving them the time, and I say, right, you're really a nice person, being sarcastic.
Oh, yeah.
But look at
They're our little children.
Look at you.
They are our children.
Yes.
And,
But look at you. Look at Marie. The way
Well, no,
it's
that's
a
why
love
it's
story.
important. In fact, if anyone wants to help videotape with Kitty Connection, the videotapes are so important.
Yeah.
We need more, and I'm so busy right now. But I've got to make the effort. We have to go over there and get new ones up on video.
Kitty Connection is fantastic because there is not. This is a one-man person, a one-woman person.
Well, we have a lot of
very,
volunteers
very
that put a
good.
lot of
But she
time
is
in.
the point person. At no point will you see that there are no adoptions going on. Every day, Marie, Thursday, every Monday to Friday at 5 o'clock, isn't it? You have adoptions going on
Friday, and
from
now we
5
have
to 8,
volunteers
and on weekends.
that start on
It's
Thursday.
Medford, Woburn, Charlestown, and the volunteers are just keep coming in and coming in. But Kitty Connection is moving to its next stage of growth. That's why we're here today as a kickoff for the first phase of fundraising, because Kitty Connection needs to be sustainable. Because Marie organized it 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And she was with Melrose Humane. My
I
dear
first
friends
started
over
with,
there.
Yeah, I first started with Melrose Humane, and then, I went off and did some independent work with some of the other rescues, and then I met Laura Burns with Hubcats, and I was helping her, and Laura was going to be leaving the state in a couple of years to take care of her parents, and my daughter had always said, Mom, why don't you just open your own? And when I was volunteering with Laura, she, mentioned it and said, oh, I'll help you get one started, and that's how Kitty Connection came to be.
Now,
so we floated, I was with Hubcats, and once I got my papers and everything going, then we became Kitty Connection.
Not all animal rescue groups are created equal. Some are more equal than others, and this is a very worthy organization. I am very committed to helping Marie move. I'm a fundraiser, development officer, want to take it to the next level of growth, and so it's sustainable. Marie has now moved to the next stage, which is very exciting, which is the TNR, which is the Trap, Neuter, Return program of feral cats, which I want to participate in. And we are hands-on, but I have much to learn from Marie because...
Now, and a feral cat is someone that is out in the wild.
Yes.
Because you had the 5 or 6 ferals in your yard?
But they're not really feral. They're defined as, we went to a training, they're defined as, mine is defined as a serious stray or as a, because there are three categories.
We had Jeannie came out
from
and,
Newburyport.
Yes, there's so many TNR organizations, and Jeannie came out to do a training for us because she has a lot of experience, and she was telling us about that when you're doing trap, neuter, and return, when you're doing trap, neuter, and return, that there'll be 3 types of cats that you'll come across, and it's feral, hard, and friendly.
Yes.
Hard.
Hard is the
hard
cat.
stray, the hard stray.
Yes.
And then there is the stray
Yeah.
that has been once loved, has been domesticated, and has had human companionship, but at some point where was abandoned or got lost. So what I had was a hard stray, and if he had stayed out a little bit longer, he would have been feral.
She, because she had cats?
It was a he, but I thought it was
Oh.
a she. I thought it was a she because he was so emaciated and was so tentative and so skittish. And then I realized he was male, and I fell in love with him and got Kitty Connection, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
You know,
And you had met Reader.
Yes, it was the Kitty Connection because it's not only connecting animals with people, but connecting people to people. And then I met the person who adopted Mystic. We named him Mystic, and this is his picture. This is when he came.
Oh, you adopted him?
No,
I did not.
I found, he came into the adoption area, and Betty, she came.
He stayed with me.
Because we said if he came into the adoption area, we did adoptions there, he'd have a better chance of getting adopted, because when people want to come in and meet cats, or when we do adoptions there once a week, or if it's a Saturday that we're doing adoptions, it will give him the opportunity to have more people meet him.
Right.
And so Betty had come, and she wanted to check out the basement.
Yes,
I
was investigating.
Yes,
And then
yes.
that's how I got to know what they were doing. But this is Mystic. We named it after the Mystic River. And this is my bedroom where he warmed himself into my heart. And I would have kept him if I could. And then I found Kitty Connection. And then now she stays with a wonderful single working person, Karen. And this is Mystic in her. This is Mystic in her house, and this is Mystic in my house.
Yeah.
So Kitty Connection. We are now Karen. I'm now like the aunt of Mystic. She comes and visits me, so we're sharing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they come.
And
She comes
Karen
in.
actually, it's so funny.
Karen now
how the connection
volunteers.
to Karen
Karen now
became a
volunteers. It's-
volunteer because she just she loved Mystic, and she came and she had spent some time too being with him, and when she met some of the volunteers, and she said, you know what, I might like to do something like this, and Karen became an adoption person too.
Yes, and she's doing TNR.
I connected her to Betty, and because Betty wanted to know how
I wanted to know
Mystic was doing, and her and Karen
we've
stay in touch.
become very close friends, and she's doing TNR in Malden, and I'm doing TNR in Charlestown, with the intention of eventually writing a story about the feral cats of Boston.
Trap, neuter, and release. Now, this is very important. I should have done this earlier. We're going to do this a few times. If you want to adopt a cat or a dog, or other pets, right? Ferrets maybe sometimes come in.
People will call us. We'll help all. We've gotten rabbits, but a lot of times what we'll do is we will network and connect with the organizations that do. Our primary animal is cats, and we do dogs.
Okay. So if people want to adopt, is there an email and a phone number?
Yes. Our email has been changed, so this is important to remember. It's now kc@kittyconnection.net is our email.
Okay.
Our website is www.kittyconnection.net. And Joan was our webmaster. She did a great job, got us going, and tons of resource information. And Joan was always hoping that the changing of the guards would come. She could retire and do something else. And Roseanne came into the organization as a foster, and her schedule got busy. And I said, there's lots of things that you can do that you don't necessarily have to foster or go to adoption events. And she said that, she did like the web, but that, she knew that we had somebody, and then that was how Roseanne started to become our webmaster. I told her that if she was really interested, Joan was looking for somebody to be able to take on the web. And I don't know if you've been on the web.
No, I'm going to go
But
tonight to
it's beautiful.
KittyConnection.net.
Roseanne has done, you know, she has a ton of experience. Her husband's talented too, and they just transformed our whole website. So definitely www.KittyConnection.net. When you go on it, there's actually, what I love is that there's pictures, and when you're on that, it's constantly changing. So there'll be a picture of a cat, a picture of a dog will come up, the book signing will come up, so it will tell you what events are going on. So she's done an incredible job with bringing us up to, you know, today's technology with our website. So we're excited with that.
And we can give out the phone number too, right?
781-393-9995.
I knew that.
Yeah, and we do. We have, you know, there's so many, we're up to about 70 volunteers at Kitty Connection, and there's just so many things to do. Some volunteers, you know, maybe really ever even make it over to Kitty Connection, but the job they do is important, whether it be answering our emails, answering our phone line. There's just so much that can be done. People write for the newspapers.
Walking the dog.
Yes, yes.
Now, you know, I have an idea. On Salem Street, there's a lot of abandoned buildings. There's the old brake pad place on Everett and Salem, and then next to that's the bike place moved across the street.
Oh.
They've been abandoned forever. Now, the city council's very much behind you. I wonder if the city would help Kitty Connection get like a storefront.
Well, the problem, you know, this is what Betty, when we're beginning our kickoff, and Betty and I had sat down, because I had gone and looked at different buildings to see about going and maybe moving, relocating, that we would go into a building.
Instead of the house?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and then, you know, I mean, basically, we're a network of foster homes, so, I mean, I would still be fostering, but that we would actually, you know,
Have a building.
have a building. And, you know, but then you're looking at everything else that becomes involved with that. You know, you really, you need people that are going to be, if you're in a building, you need people that are going to be there every day, okay? And even this year, when we had, like, when the hurricane came, you know, we had a very bad weather year that you experience a lot. And when we had the hurricane, when we had the blizzards this year, you know, volunteers come over every single day, sometimes twice a day, to take care of the cats that are in the adoption area. And, you know, Gary came when we were getting the hurricane, and I mean, we made sure that everything was hatched up, that the bulkhead was secure, so what cats were in the adoption area. We topped it so that no rain could get in. And when these storms came, and especially the hurricane, it made me think that if we had a building, what would happen?
Someone would have to stay overnight for 2 or 3 nights.
Well, but what if somebody can't? What about, you know, if you're a
What
network?
about the electric going down?
Well, this is where I said, you know, because Kitty Connection is in my home, I'm able to, what I did is I went downstairs, and all of the kitties that had their foster homes to go to, they all go into their foster homes. If other foster homes could take another kitty, you know, they took another kitty, but there's always those few that are at Kitty Connection. And if they're doing good, and what I did is, just in case, because I thought, you know, what if we lose power? And I went downstairs, and all of the rooms that have, like, the pens are separated by the doors. But at that point, because you know, Joe, how there's the screen,
right.
So animals relate by smell. So all the cats that were left all knew each other. So what I did is I just went through and I opened so that all doors could stay open. Because God forbid if anything flooded.
So they all got to wander.
So the cats, they all get to just, yes, You know, God forbid, if anything went wrong, I wouldn't have to, like, if we lost electricity, and I would be able to even just go down the stairs or be able to, you know, feed the cats up in the kitchen and them come up there to eat. Because I didn't have a dog, and Penny's obviously good with cats. So
that was the question we didn't have to ask.
See, that's it. And this is sometimes how we do the test to see if cats are good with dogs. And Penny will go through Kitty Connection, and you know, I have to be really careful, because if a dog does not like a cat, like if a cat does not like a dog, it could do a lot of damage to the dog. But obviously, because of leash and dogs being trained to listen, you know, she's not going to hurt a cat. So, you know, it's almost like, you know, what did they say? She's, you know, my because she's my dog, has to do a little bit of extra work here to make
so
Kitty
regal.
Connection.
Did you see?
Yeah.
Oh, she's so
She loves
pretty.
to be
He's
fed.
he's very
And
wise.
and even in training with her focus, you know, we work on, dogs really need to focus on their owners. So that's really, really important.
Because so they focus on their owner.
They have to, like, when I'm working with her, I'll do, I don't know, Penny, me. And,
wow.
And she looks at, and it's supposed to be her keeping, if I say me, she knows I want her to look at me. And that's part of, because when I say me, it'll be the next, okay, I love you, yes. It'll be the next command that I'm going to give her. Like if we're going to work. And it's funny, because even with this collar, if I take this off, it's almost like she knows that she's not working. But when this collar's on her, it's almost like, you know, again, the little bit of a yank that she has to go back, sit. Yes, you're a good girl.
So your daughter is a wonderful musician. How does she like Penny?
It's so
Is she
funny.
jealous?
They all have their dogs, and
oh, your daughter has her own dogs?
Lauren has her dog Lucy, and she adopted Lucy from Kitty Connection.
I hope so.
If she actually had fostered Lucy, and her and Meg fell in love with her, and they adopted her. Jeanette's Doug was visiting at Northeast. They adopted their dog from Northeast, and you know, she's a Great Pyrenees mix. So basically, they kind of, because Penny's the center of my my life, you know, they'll feel like Penny takes over. They don't want Penny. They say that their dogs are afraid of Penny. Huh.
That's
yes.
too funny.
I know. So no, they like their dogs a lot better than my dog. But it was funny, because when Lauren, my first Mother's Day with Penny, and Lauren said, "Mom, Jeanette and I are going to, we're going to make you breakfast. Come on over, but you have to leave Penny home." So I said to them, "Well, if it's Mother's Day," I said, "you'll have to come here and cook, because you can't leave your sister out." So she goes, "Okay." She says, "I can't believe you're not going to come for Mother's Day, because I told you have to leave Penny home." I says, "Nope." I says, "It wouldn't be a good Mother's Day if my daughters all weren't with me."
Nope. And
so we did. Needless to say, Penny,
now what's planned for this Mother's Day?
Jeanette moved, so we'll be heading out to Jeanette's for the day. And Jeanette's a mom now too, so I have a little granddaughter.
And that's where you usually are on Thursday nights. I've been trying to get you here.
Yes, that's my problem for Thursday nights. I have a little granddaughter. I babysit her, and she absolutely loves Penny.
Well, everyone out there, HWCAM, South Hamilton, Wenham, broadcast visual radio. Hello, Bill and everyone. Hello, Kimberly. Kimberly and William, and Bill runs the station. Hello from visual radio. They're big on animal rescue.
Oh, that's awesome.
In fact, I've got to hook you up with Kimberly Yeager.
Yeah.
Have you met her yet?
No.
She's the president of HWCAM. She's a dear old friend of mine. And she's on WZLX on Sunday mornings. Mm-hmm. She's the public affairs director of the classic rock station. But she lives up there in South Hamilton. And There, she's big into animal
that's
rescue.
Great, yeah.
She fosters.
Oh my goodness, there's so many animals out there. I mean, I'm out of my element because I'm a city girl, but
no,
I
it's
do
good
love
for your
that
daughter
there's
to
the
know
horses.
that there's someone
absolutely yes.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this again a few more times. KC@KittyConnection.com if you want to adopt it.
.net.
.net. KC.
The email is kc@kittyconnection.com is the email.
Oh, it's .com?
Wait a minute, now you're confusing
No,
me.
it's .net. You
.net,
told me.
yes.
KC@KittyConnection.net. My bad. .net. And the phone number is 781-393-9995. It's a wonderful array of little personalities that you need in your life, right?
Correct, yes, absolutely.
And so the book signing, what will you do at the book signing on the 18th, which is this, it's a week from
this coming Saturday, yes.
A week from Saturday.
Yes.
What will you do?
Well, there will be a reading.
You're going to read from the book?
We're going to read from the book. We're going to have Marie will do a presentation, a short presentation on Kitty Connection, and we're
going to have lots of information too available to the public.
And you also do adoptions at the pet stores?
Yes.
Which ones do you where can people
We
find
go
you?
to Petco in Woburn on every Saturday except the first Saturday of the month.
Now, Petco in Woburn is near Target.
Yes.
Is it across, or is it the one in the Target parking lot?
No, it's the one in the Target parking lot.
Okay,
Yes.
because
It's
there's
in
another
that-
pet store across the street.
That's PetSmart across the street, but we're
Okay.
at Petco in Woburn.
Petco, so if you go into the Target parking lot, there's a Starbucks and a Petco.
Yes.
And what days are your adoptions at Petco?
Every Saturday except the first Saturday of the month, we're at Petco in Woburn.
From
1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
So you're going to have a busy Saturday on the 18th.
Yes, there's many times that we're multitasking. On the first Saturday of the month, we are at Pet Life in Stoneham from 11:30 to 1:30.
Which is in the Redstone?
Yes.
Okay.
And then from 2:30 to 4:30, we do it at Kitty Connection. Every Sunday from 2 to 4, we're at Pet Supplies Plus in Medford. And
Pet Supplies Plus in Medford is the one in the
Wellington Circle.
Wellington Circle, near the Dunkin' Donuts.
yes.
And the Subway, and I'm trying to give people point of reference.
The big CVS, the 24-hour CVS
Yes,
is
right at
there.
that circle.
Yes, Wellington Circle there.
Cappy's and Station Landing.
We're there every Sunday, 2 to 4. And we're now in Charlestown. So when we're in Charlestown, we're also in Woburn. So they have an adoption weekend on Saturdays.
And what's in Charlestown?
Petco Unleashed. And we're there from 11 to 3 o'clock on the second Saturday of the month.
Market Basket, is that near there?
That's near the 99 restaurant.
Oh, the old
Yes.
front page.
Yes,
Yes.
and the new Whole Foods.
Do you know who used to run the 99 when it was front page? It was owned by Maury Carroll. Maury and Tom.
Oh,
They owned it, and then I guess they sold to 99, and now they have Carroll's.
yeah, okay.
They're wonderful people, wonderful
Yes.
guys. KC@KittyConnection.net. So a week from Saturday at the Bestsellers Cafe, wonderful coffee there. There will be a book reading. Would you like to read a little from the book now?
I haven't thought of which part to read, but let me tell you a little bit about the book.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea, it's a sociological memoir about filled with canine characters from different parts of the world and how they came into the life of a Chinese woman, namely me, who became a part of the American story. How dogs break down barriers of race, class, ethnicity, religion, politics, and make us share our common humanity with one another. We were just listening to the stories, the love story between Marie and Penny and you and Smokey Joe. And my book is basically a love story. It's if you've ever loved a dog, really love a dog, you know the healing power of their unconditional love. I am the, in my book I talk about, I am the second of 5 girls in a traditional Chinese expatriate family where girls were unwanted, thrown away and discarded. I grew up at the time of the Cold War, where being Chinese meant I was part of the evil empire. My father, despite the protests of my mother, sent us to Catholic convent school, where at the age of 4, I learned and was educated in the liberating ideals of democracy, freedom, and equality, which clashed with the authoritarian hierarchical structure I lived in, and which contradicted the feudal Confucian values where wife submits to husband, children obey parents without question, women kowtow to men, young to old, daughters to sons, sisters to brothers, poor to rich, very hierarchical.
And where was this? What country?
I came from, my parents left China because of the Communist War, and I was born in the Philippines, an island of 1,000 islands. And, you know, once you're a Chinese, my parents drilled upon me, you're Chinese, look at yourself, you know. But yet I never understood, I never went to Chinese school, I never understood what it meant. But the Confucian structure was necessary to preserve harmony in the family and order in society. I remember when I was born, my mother cried because I was just a girl, a daughter, another, in her words, another female mouth to feed. Until this day, when she's angry with me, she would say, I should have thrown you into the baby tower for the vultures to feed on.
That's horrible.
Yes. But so life for me was, especially my childhood, was one crisis after another. And I had this Confucian leash connecting me with my tradition, which choked me and which was unbearable. But I had a house full of dogs, 13 at some point, and a backyard full of rabbits and goats and guinea pigs. So they became my refuge. They became my best friends, my teachers, my ultimate therapists, and my sanctuary.
In the Philippines?
And my salvation in the Philippines.
And this is after you left the convent?
The convent school. I grew up there.
Oh, and this is where the animals were, in the convent school?
No, in my home, my parental home.
You didn't live at the school?
I did not
no,
leave the school.
Oh, I
attended
see,
it,
I see.
yes.
I just attended it.
Catholic,
okay.
Because
Catholic
it was taught
girls'
by
school.
nuns.
It was taught
from the
by
convent,
nuns,
yes.
and my parents felt that.
I went to nun school, and I thought they were very authoritarian here. So you see, for me, they were very limiting. For you, they were liberating.
Yes, yes.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes. And so I had all these dogs, and I moved from the Philippines to Paris, where I lived for a decade, and then came to America, where
the whole family went to Paris?
No, just myself,
okay.
And I married.
And you took all the dogs with you?
No, some of the dogs stayed behind in the Philippines with my parents. My parents had not immigrated yet to the United States. My parents immigrated to the United States at the time of martial law, when the Philippines was under Marcos. And you know, the Chinese are the scapegoats. My memoir, my book here, it's also historical. You will see I analyze, because my background is Asian studies, I analyze why the Chinese are hated, you know, the tension. And the Chinese are always scapegoats of, you know, in Indonesia they beheaded 500,000 Chinese as part of the war. But so my parents came to the United States. I lived in Europe for 10 years. I married the director of an international organization. And what's very interesting is dogs always found me and helped me in overcome the problems of my human condition and all the psychic issues I had about identity, who I am, where I belong, issues of marginality, culture shocks, tiger parents. These are all analyzed in this book. But in Paris, a French mutt as ugly as sin, but as irresistible as French dark chocolate, came into my life and introduced me to a Paris very few people encounter. He literally opened gates of French society to me and brought me to places I could never have been to, because in France, the French don't consider you quite a human being, a worthy human being, unless you come with a pet or an animal. And once I came, this French mutt completed me, and I was no longer just a foreigner. I was no longer just another barbarian, and it made me understand French societies and all this. So the book is about this, and all this storytelling, a series of stories about how the bonding of dogs with me, how it made me understand. I resolved a lot of these issues, and as I think of what's happening in the world, I'm saying, if only they understand the healing power of unconditional love. You know, dogs, animals, they love us, they offer no commentaries, they make no judgments. It's just simple love, as simple as that. You know it, I know it, Marie knows it. So that's the book.
Girl on a Leash, The Healing Power of Dogs, a memoir by Betty Lim King. So it's more than a book about animals, it's about your life and your travels around the world.
Yes, yes.
And the cultures too.
And the
It's
cultures
so
too.
yes.
And the cultures too. It's historical. It makes you, you know, there are philosophical musings about, you know, why do we say animals don't have consciousness? How do we know they don't have consciousness? They used to tell us that they don't have consciousness.
Oh, please.
We know that they
have consciousness.
Yes, they feel like us. You know, if you prick them, will they not bleed? And so it's saying to us that we should maybe learn to share this planet and all its blessings with all living things, value the preciousness of life, including animal life.
Betty, in your book, in the very beginning too, it's so sad when you say the dog that's being used for research has been tortured, and before they're going to put him down, he'll lick the hand of the person.
Torture
and
them.
it made me, you know, and when I read that, and I thought that is, it's so sad, you know, because it's like people really just fail to understand that they do have feelings, and it's just when you think of it, and it's just, you know, I know you advocated a lot down in the South, and you know it's hard to think that in the South that they're still gassing animals.
Oh, I mean, you know, I get emails every day from the South, so that's a story for another day.
Yeah.
I'd like to have you back, if you'd like. Welcome to Visual Radio, both of you. We're here every Thursday night, but we do studio tapings too. We have to talk to our film critic now. So is there anything else you'd like to wrap up?
No, just for everybody to come and support Kitty Connection, help it
May 18th
continue
at 3 p.m.
doing the good things that it's doing, and you know,
the book is fantastic, definitely. I mean, you know, it helps us, but it's just great reading too, because as Betty said, it's about a lot more than dogs, and
as we move forward, as Kitty Connection moves to its next level of growth, we hope that people will respond to our fundraising efforts, because you need money to make good things come true.
Yeah.
And
we need
it's taking
people to
off.
be aware,
Yes.
aware that there is help out there.
Talking about movies.
Hey, Frank, say hello to Penny, our doggy that's with us.
Penny, how you doing?
We have the Wizard of Oz tonight, right?
He's
The
listening.
1925 Wizard of Oz. This is the last of the silent Oz movies you'll be showing. And I'm glad it's the last, not because they're bad movies, but because when I read the background of these movies, they're all so sad. The movies you've been showing the last few weeks were not successful and basically ruined the Oz Film Company that L. Frank Baum himself had set up. And tonight's movie, which comes 10 years after the movies you've been showing, so this is 1925, which makes it almost 90 years old. This was not a success, and it ruined what was left of the career of the man who made it. So I'm glad to kiss this stuff goodbye.
But it looks like a fun movie.
It is a fun movie. It just wasn't successful. It was directed and stars Larry Seaman, who basically is unremembered today, except he hired Oliver Harding. He hired Stan Laurel separately. He put them together in one movie, and then they did not appear together while working for him, and 5 years later they became a team. But that's what he's remembered for, is the guy that first put Laurel and Hardy on the same screen together. He's not remembered, but he was quite a popular comedian around the World War I period, and then he just doesn't change with the times. So by the time 1925 comes around, he's considered old-fashioned. His movies aren't very popular. He's not an easy man to work with, and that's true of a lot of comedians. And this movie falls flat on its face at the box office. It is not the Oz anybody might be expecting. It's over 80 minutes, and we don't get out of Kansas till minute 45.
Whoa!
So, and until then, there's a lot of comic shtick, you know, that you know, the stuff you might associate with the silent two-reel comedies, the sight gags and all that, but no real plot. And audiences had outgrown it by then.
But Oliver Hardy, was he doing comedic stuff in this movie?
Oh yes. Well, Hardy. Let's see. Well, Hardy is only 33 when he makes this movie, but and this is probably as young as you're ever going to see Oliver Hardy on film. But he has been in movies a long time, mainly making comic shorts. Most of them for Larry Seaman. He had been working with Seaman, so it was quite natural that he would pop up in Seaman's movie. And he's got quite a big part. You'll have no trouble recognizing him. He has 3 parts in the movie, or 2 parts or 1 part if you want to consider the Tin Woodsman just an outgrowth of his farm hand in Kansas. So he's in a good part of the movie. He's not the romantic lead. He's kind of the girl that's back in Kansas. He's the guy who's fighting the star for the hand of the girl. And once they get to Oz, he becomes the Tin Woodman. And he looks just like Oliver Hardy, probably a bit thinner than you've ever seen him. But no, he's not thin in the movie at all. But he's not as big as he is in the comedies we think of him with. And so I mean, it's fun just to see him before he became famous. And the movie's not bad. I mean, that's just the history of these movies. That's kind of depressing. Larry Seaman, star, the director, this basically ends his career. He makes a few more comic shorts, and he'll be dead in 3 years. Only 39 years old.
And L. Frank Baum died around the time?
I think L. Frank Baum is dead by now. I think he died 1919. Yeah, he died 1919, and so he never saw this movie. This was licensed from his estate, and so what else? Larry Seaman, who dies in 3 years, dies under mysterious circumstances, and perhaps didn't die. He had a lot of creditors by then, and no one knows where his body is to this day. So though he died of pneumonia and tuberculosis, he was in a hospital. No one ever saw his body. And there was always the suspicion that maybe he just arranged his exit to get away from his creditors. So when you see this kind of low-grade comic, a Stan Laurel type comic, not too bright and all that, and an innocent and all that, he had a lot going on behind the scenes. Dorothy in this movie is played by Larry Seaman's real wife, Dorothy. Dorothy Duane, who is her name, is the actress, and she plays Dorothy. Dorothy hasn't got a big role in this movie. And again, I said when I read into the history of these movies, it's kind of sad. There's a woman in this movie I always heard about, Virginia Pearson, who was kind of a vamp of the World War I. You know, she was a femme fatale, and her career had basically died, and she had declared bankruptcy, and she'll be out of the business in a few years, as will Dorothy Dawn, who will not survive sound. When sound comes in, her career is over.
And Frank, I will get you the movie for next week by email, but we got to sign off now.
Okay, I'll warn you listeners, there is a black character in this movie, and the humor directed at him is racist by our standards. So if nobody should be offended, that's the way they did it then.
Thank you so much, Frank Delestrito.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Bye. Our film critic, Frank. And that's the 1925 Wizard of Oz. Thank you, Marie Mazzeo.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you, Betty. Thank you to Gene Martin, our director, and to Judy Kellerman and to WCAM. Views and opinions are ours, not yours, but you got to watch us. Thank you very much. Have a great night.